What up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph Brocast. I am Dave Koss.
And I am Matt Milstead. Oh, we're going with last names, aren't we?
I thought we'd throw that in there. We don't always do that.
All right.
Brograph, it's a supplement to our site, brograph.com, and that's a motion graphics tutorial site with tutorials, plugins, the podcast, of course, and MoGraph stuff. And on this podcast, we talk about motion graphics and Cinema 4D and After Effects and plugins and render engines and business stuff and taxes and working for the man. And this week, we got kind of a short show for you, so maybe only 2 hours. Just like to say that every week.
Right.
And
no guests on the show tonight. It is just
no guests.
It is just the bros.
Just the bros. We're getting back to
David
motion graphics.
Ariev-less.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little less VR this week, we promise.
We'll still talk some VR.
We do have some VR stuff to talk about, but I think we got it out of our system last couple weeks.
Well, because we had all got the systems and we were super excited. Yeah. I love on your Twitter thing that you said, and we talk about this and this and this, but mostly VR.
But mostly VR. It was the VR episode.
Yeah.
So, if you would like to email the show, I'm going to throw this out here at the beginning. We'd love to hear from you guys. That's brograph@brograph.com. You can hit us up on there and ask us anything you want. If you have show topic ideas, we love to hear them.
Yeah, and no one's taken me up on the offer that I said, basically, if you send it to us, we'll probably say anything you want on the air.
Unless it's explicit.
Yeah.
You don't want to get tagged for that. But the thing about the email is we need help with topic ideas because we do talk a lot every week. And so we want to hear from you. We want to hear about what you want to hear a discussion on, basically. We want to know if you want to hear more about render engines, if you want to hear more about modeling, if you want more After Effects talk, we want to know. So we're going to let you guys kind of drive that. We always find stuff to talk about, but again, we like to have that feedback. And even if it's feedback about the show, what you like, what you don't like, hit us up. It's even questions. If you have questions specific about Cinema 4D or After Effects, motion graphics industry, business, just let us know. No question is too small, too dumb. Don't think, well, that's a stupid question. I'll sound amateur. Don't worry about it. If it sounds noob, that's fine. There's plenty of noobs listening to the show, and
I would consider myself a noob.
Off of this. A noob. Getting pwned. And hit us up too. You can hit us up on all social media networks and stuff like that, like Twitter, and we have a pretty decent following on Twitter. It's a small amount of followers, but they're like really good followers. So
yeah,
really
that's the thing.
That.
Facebook, I think, we tried to do like a big push for Facebook likes and stuff like that. But then I felt like we got a whole bunch of just fake accounts and stuff like that, which kind of sucked. So
but we have a good
Twitter.
following in there,
our
too.
Twitter following is awesome.
Yeah,
they're good.
And we've been getting more progress with our Facebook stuff. But so a weird observation that I've noticed. Do you notice how many people in motion graphics, VR modeling, artsy industry are named Florian?
No.
I don't know why it is.
Amy always says that everyone is either named Dave, Matt, Nick, or Chris.
Yeah, but there's I get that because these are common names, like Dave, of course. There's going to be some Daves. But I have met in real life and on Twitter and Facebook and in different groups and just seen a lot of work from people named Florian.
Okay.
And I don't know what it is. I don't know why. Is that a common name in a certain country, or what is the reason for that? It's
if
weird.
You want your child to be a MoGraph artist, name him Florian.
Florian.
If we got any Florians out there, hit us up. We want to talk to you.
Yeah, we want to talk to you. And send us those emails, such as this one right here from Tom Saunders, who said, I'm about to purchase the Cinema 4D Octane Light Kit, but I have a question before I do. I need to use spotlights with visible light fall off. Is that possible? I need to simulate underwater spotlights for the underneath of yachts, and I'd like to find a way to do that without trying to scatter the light through water or fog. Let me know, Tom. Now, if you haven't heard of our plugin, it's an Octane plugin for Cinema 4D Octane, which gives you a spotlight, among other things that it gives you. Now, in this particular case, Octane does not do volumetric lighting in that sense, like without having something to push it through, like some sort of environment, some sort of VDB file, some sort of fog volume. So you do have to go about it somehow like that. I've been thinking about, there might be a technique you could do to where you have like a cone-shaped volumetric area or something with some sort of feathered fall off.
Oh, that's a good
idea.
idea.
You can create volumetrics that have like
that are only limited to that specific area,
to that cone. That way, that it's not like overutilizing or like pushing your processor or your graphics card too much, but it's just enough volumetrics, or just enough to look like volumetrics. I haven't really thought about it any more than that, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We should turn that into a plugin.
It would be good for the 2.0 plugin of our plugin, but
yeah.
So there's that. Also wanted to do an update on DFWC4D. We are happy to finally announce that it is set in stone. We are going to have EJ Hassenfrost and David Ariev in Dallas, and it's going to be awesome.
We are spending our own money to fly them out to come and hang out with you bros.
That's right. So if you're in DFW, or if you're around Texas or any of the surrounding states, and you can get out here on the 2nd of February, come on out and have a good time with us. We are most likely, well, I think we are now going to have Max on as a sponsor again for the event. We just kind of worked that out tonight, actually. And so everything looks like it's good. We're going to have a really good time. I think we'll probably present something too. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to present. We'll find something to talk about. We'll probably have a computer on display. We'll talk about Octane. We'll talk about
maybe we'll bring our Oculus.
Maybe
we could set up that whole little corner area.
I thought
of the
about
bar,
that. Man, I thought
and
about that.
And then get some people playing Super Hot. Oh man, that would be so much fun.
I know. I thought about that though, but the problem is that like you have to have somebody like
watching it at all time. Yeah,
right. They got to watch it, make sure no one messes up the cables, and everyone's going to want to try it, and it's going to be a long. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that or not. I thought about it. Really thought about that. And I was like, ugh. And then that's going to become a whole project in itself, right there. You know?
Yeah. I mean, we gave away the Cinema 4D box, the VR cardboard things. Like we just handed those out. People
they were gone.
Couldn't get them fast enough.
Yeah.
Sorry,
everybody was all over that.
Tip tapping around.
And the other thing, well, and actually, I think they've got new goggles that they're sending us for this round, so we'll have more of those.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll have them in time. We were talking to
trying.
Matthias earlier, actually. And he was saying that they might be doing that. So that should be fun.
Yeah. So everybody come out, and if you are not able to make it out, we will be posting the talks on our website, Brograph.com, with...
And for those of you who, don't live in Denver or Washington, D.C. and can't see, David Ariev and EJ Hassenfrost, I mean, these guys are legends in our craft. You should really try and make it out.
I'm pretty sure David's going to show the latest iteration of the big music video project he's working on.
He should be done by then, shouldn't he? David, if you're listening to this, you should be done. And if you're listening to this and you're not working on it, why aren't you working on it? Get back to work.
He's walking the dog. And he's listening on his headphones right now, yelling back at us. But so it's going to be amazing. The presentations will be online on Brograph. It's going to be under the Brograph Talks section. There's already some other stuff. Like if you want to go on there and check out Barton Damer's presentation from last DFWC4D. It was awesome. We're about to do a relaunch of the website with we actually have a decent logo now and stuff because we kind of cobbled everything together last time. So now we're kind of straightening out the details and really making this a thing.
Yeah, January's slow, so we're working on Brograph. I cleaned my office. My office is now cleaned. I built a whole nother shelf so that I could hold more of my junk and crap and actually put my computer on display. So, and I got a whole lot more toys for Christmas. And so now both me and Dave, we have monitors, like big TVs behind us that's going to have the big Brograph logo while we're working. Dude,
and I mounted mine.
Yeah, and it looks good. This is going to be like super profesh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what we're trying to do with the next round of tutorials.
So, and Dave's creating... Oh, and you guys are going to be... Okay, so just a heads up, we're going to put in some new music for the podcast.
We finally found the new music.
We found the new music.
Yep.
And so here pretty soon, we're going to have some new music. We're also going to have an actual, good intros. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're going to have real intros to the show. We're going to have... I'm going to shoot all of my intros for each individual tutorial with, 5D and not the GoPro that I have for the rest of the tutorial.
Oh, there you go.
And so there's going to be that. I'm going to have lighting in here. I've got this stuff mounted. I cleaned my office for it. Although since I cleaned my office for the tutorials, it is all just gone to hell already because
how many plates do you have on the ground?
Oh, I don't have any. That was only when we were working on that big project.
Yeah.
But I am playing Trash Jenga back there.
Okay.
And so the whole thing is that I went down a rat hole of okay, I'm going to do new tutorials, but first I have to work on my office. And then I did that and I got it set. And I'm like, if I'm going to do this, then I'm going to want to have this other stuff set up and we're going to want to have the new intro. So I started working on that and I didn't do the tutorial.
Yep.
Because I was working on the new intro. So, but it's coming. We've got everything in the works. So we're not rebranding because we kind of already did that recently.
Yeah.
But just the whole new line. It's just everything's going to look a lot cleaner, a lot more professional. We're just trying to step it up and really make it clean. So,
yep.
We
got a lot of good stuff coming, and we want to make sure that it's, that we look good when we do it.
Yeah. The other thing too, I was going to mention, what was it? It was about the show. I don't know. Anyway, I'll think of it. Let's move on here. So this week, stuff that I have noticed just in passing and working on projects and things like that. Number one, I wanted to talk about hardware and software rendering out of R18. Have you noticed that it's different or not quite the same and not as good as it was before? It's really weird.
What is it again?
I feel like in R17, and maybe this is just an Octane problem, but I feel like in R17, it was kind of a what you see is what you get type deal where if I had... Yeah, no, with the viewport in Octane, not the Octane viewport, but your Cinema 4D viewport, you would have all your stuff in there, and it does an okay job of showing your textures on your objects and stuff like that in the viewport. But when you would go export hardware render, you would pretty much get exactly what you saw in the viewport. And now I feel like when you do a hardware or a software render out of the viewport, you get a real flat looking scene without the textures as opposed to what you had in your viewport. And it's not like turning on OpenGL and all that stuff. That doesn't help.
Yeah,
it's
I haven't
flat.
really noticed just because, I only do the hardware renders ever so often, and I really don't care what they look like. I just need the general idea there.
Right. There's just a couple that I have spit out that were so flat you couldn't even tell what was going on. I had to turn on my wireframe and stuff like that just to get it looking halfway decent. Just an observation I put out there. I've been working on some projects, or one particular project, I guess, that's standard render. It's physical render, but it's not Octane. And as usual, it's an incredibly grueling process and reminds me of just how incredibly frustrating. I just, it's the back to the old way of like, if something gets screwed up or something's not completely right, you waste so much time, and even if you want to change something like reflections, blurry reflections, for nail shaders, things like that, you got to test it, and reflections, and you hit a button and then you just wait forever, it seems like. Even on this 8-core machine that I have here, it's pretty decent as far as CPU rendering, just, standard stuff. It's not anything super special or anything like that, but it's just so grueling. And then you up any of your quality settings. I mean, forget about it. You go up to like medium setting in physical render and it's still just awful.
Yeah.
On top of that, I had to do 4K renders, which made it even worse. And these were just stills, but
you're doing
the main
4K on that?
Well, it's 4K stills.
Oh, okay. 300 DPI or 72?
72.
Okay.
Technically, but
well, that's not bad.
The whole thing is that whenever I do the regular render, which is a standard HD, that is what the time suck is. Because you can spit out a 4K render in like 5. Actually, no, it was like 20 minutes for a 4K render, because just the amount of reflections and anti-aliasing, all that kind of stuff, just the samples, just everything going on in it was just super, super, super crazy. And I can't really talk about what the content was, but it just took forever. And so when I went down to the 1920 by 1080 version, it's just grueling to sit there and render, and like you keep telling me, oh, you need to set up those old computers to do team render and all that. I'm like, just for this one project, I'm going to get these things out and get them updated and hook them up to monitors. And
that's true. That probably will take a lot of time. And so, well, you ended up just sending them to the farm, right?
So I sent them to Ranch Computing. Now, this one particular, over last weekend, I sent a render. It took 48 hours to render 600 frames. Locally. And, this is because we don't have a lot of CPU power, because it's not what we do.
Yeah, we're a GPU company.
We're a GPU company. And so it took a really long time. I thought I had everything right, and then I start looking at the renders, and they're not right. Luckily, there were changes to the core models after that anyway, because I was getting over my head and band-aided renders and stuff like that. So I was able to start over, and I got everything right. I did the same exact renders again, and I sent it to Ranch Computing, and it was pretty amazing. In 16 minutes, it did what took 48 hours. Yeah. 16 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely crazy.
And how much did it cost total? You were doing 4 videos, right?
It was something like, I don't know, maybe $50 or something.
Yeah.
Was not bad at all.
Considering that you didn't have to just basically waste your computer time for 2 hours or for 2 days.
Well, and it's the instant gratification of like, okay, this is good to go. Just knowing you're not waiting for 2 days and then realizing you did something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of thing. So we got a message from, hold on, I'm loading it up because I forgot about this one, from Dan Dillinger, who was asking about that in particular. He said, it looks like I'm sticking to a CP render for now. And no, wait, is that the old one?
I don't know.
No, yeah. Oh, that was in December. Sorry. He
was asking about Pixelplow and if we've ever used Pixelplow before. And I said that I hadn't. I don't remember what he was saying.
Oh, you sent that. Okay, that's why I'm confused. That's why I'm confused.
Because I don't normally answer the Facebook ones. You do. I'm a Twitter guy myself.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I said, Ranch is great. And exactly what we talked about on the show before, which was like the slowdown that you get in the pipeline because of the download speed. But in this particular case, I was using TIFF files. They weren't as big as those EXRs that we were using a couple months ago, so it wasn't as bad. It didn't take as long. You know, the basically the question comes down to, you know, which render farm do you use? What's the one that Grayscale is pushing?
PixelPlow. PixelPlow is what they're setting, or that they've been trying to push.
Right.
Which I've heard good things, and I trust Chad when he says it's good. So that was basically my answer.
I haven't tried that either. You know, the thing though is that I really like the workflow of Ranch because
I agree.
You know, it's that plugin, and you go in there and it checks everything for you and compacts it into just this one file. And you don't have to worry about file paths, anything like that. I know you tried out that other one, but like it sets up a virtual machine and you got to load your plugins.
That one was rough. Yeah, that one I ended up not even using at all, and just that was a big waste of time.
So,
but their customer service is great if you like that type of thing.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like it's still a little confusing on Ranch Computing on how you use, you know, the priority stuff on there, because I did the lowest priority, yet there was 0 people rendering, and my stuff still didn't kick in.
Yeah. And, you know, that was the problem that if you go back and listen to the very first time we talked about Ranch Computing, it was a long time ago. Like, that was my biggest problem, was that, you know, I'm paying, and there's no one in front of me, but it's just, it hasn't started. And so then I paid more, and it wasn't starting, you know? See, the CPU stuff is really confusing with the tiers and whatever, but the GPU stuff is like, you pay for GPU, you're in line with everyone else. And that makes sense, you know? There's no, Ruby scale and diamond scale and stuff like that. You know, it's like, that doesn't make sense. Just do one flat fee and then call it good, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or at least make it more understandable. I don't know.
Yeah. And speed up your download speeds.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing right there. That would be the first thing that I would ask for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I really like them. You know, I might try another one at some point and just see. So the other thing that happened this week is the CES keynote happened with the president, CEO, whatever, of NVIDIA coming out and hacking his way through a keynote presentation like he always does. It's always so hard to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It seemed weird when he's like, and now we're going to talk about this sponsor. Oh, and here they are. I don't know. He seems...
He doesn't seem rehearsed ever.
I was playing Oculus the whole time, you know, instead of actually like...
Were you listening to it?
I was listening to it. So I had one of my earphones like, you know, put up while I finally got Medium to work, which is incredible. So... Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about his keynotes is that, first of all, it doesn't ever look like he's practiced anything. Number two, like he's so... It's not even that he's a dry sense of humor. It's like he has no sense of humor. I don't even know... Like, I don't know. It just feels so awkward all the time. And we get together usually in this Skype chat room that we have for Octane users, not just Cinema 4D, all sorts. And there are some, I mean, there's all these people in there that like huge names in Octane that are hanging out in there.
Which is crazy. It's like, you know, you added me and David to the Skype group, and I'm like, holy crap, these are like big name people. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, you got Tom in there who started the thing. Yeah, and then you know like Cornelius is in there, In Life Thrills in there. Man, I forget who else. There's a bunch of Florians in there, I'm sure. You know, actually, I'm going to look and see.
I was about to say I'm going to look right now, see if there's any Florians. Yep, Florian.
Yep, there's a Florian. There's a Florent. Bet you there's some other Florians in there.
I'm sure there are.
That's funny.
That is funny.
Yeah. So we sit there and kind of just comment on what's going on and whatnot. We watch the stream, and it's really funny to see what people are talking about. NVIDIA tries to concentrate on all these other areas, and we're just like, really? Like, they're going into self-driving cars, and they're going into all this AI stuff, and I kind of get the AI stuff because of their processor, but like they're branching into just these crazy areas. Like they're doing a thing that's like Alexa or Siri or any of those other, or Google devices that listen to what you're saying and do something for you. You put them around the house and whatnot. And so we're just watching that stuff like, how far are they trying to branch into that? And he comes up on stage. He does a bad job. The thing that I don't like is that he always intros a section by making it look like you're going to watch a video, but you're not.
Yeah, I can see that.
So he goes, so we're doing this whole new thing, and it's about self-driving cars, and we're going to take a look at that now. And the lights go down, and it goes to a wide shot, and something that comes up on the screen, and you're expecting it to play. And then he goes, okay, so what we got here, and then he just keeps going. And then you're like, all right. So he's like, so within this, we have this thing you can do in the self-driving car.
They talked a lot about the self-driving car stuff,
Yeah.
And like, I mean, that's cool and all, which it's something that I didn't know was, GPU related or something like that. But I mean, the new gaming stuff that he mentioned looks awesome. That's really cool. But okay. So,
but we were doing the breakdown on numbers, and it's not worth it.
Yeah. It's so basically, for those of you who didn't like read any of the CES stuff or the NVIDIA stuff, basically they want you to be able to rent GPUs from them in a way through the cloud.
Yeah.
So you're basically paying, a certain amount per hour to rent their GPU so that you can run games, but you also need a super fast internet stream in order to be able to play these games,
Right. And there's a limit on how many hours you can play.
Oh, is there? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we were doing the math, and we figured out how long it would take. I forget what it is, but I'll have to go back and look.
I believe it's like $25 an hour. Was the price
That's not
that
that expensive, is it?
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. Oh no, maybe it's $25 for 20 hours. I don't remember.
It's $25 for 20 hours.
Yeah, $25 for 20 hours. So basically, if you do like a whole weekend of gaming, you're basically paying $25, right?
So I figured it out. So 166 days of gaming equals a $5,000 system.
Jeez. Yeah, but that's like straight days of gaming. How much gaming does the average person play per day? It
just depends. But, if you're a hardcore gamer and you're going to use that every day for 166 days, let's say you use it every other day for a year, you're going to spend $5,000. So just build a system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The problem is casual gaming gets a limit, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I got to hurry and finish this game, or I'm not going to be able to play it.
Right.
Anymore.
I mean, here's the thing, like, that was interesting is that you can play it on a Mac now, so you don't have to worry about actually upgrading a Mac, blah, 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 blah,
Right.
Oh, that's great. Cool. Now you can stick with your crappy Mac and, whatever.
Well, the whole thing, though, is that everybody's sitting there waiting for them to announce the 1080 Ti.
Yeah.
And they've been talking about it. It's announced.
Basically, nothing.
They said there's going to be a Ti. That. It's already come out, but yet they didn't talk about it at all.
Yeah. You think they would have.
Okay. And so we're guessing now, okay, well, it's not going to come out anytime soon. It's going to be another 6 months. They'll probably announce it at SIGGRAPH, honestly.
Maybe, yeah.
And that's where they did it last year, so they're going to wait a year before they come out with the Ti. It was just a lot of expectation as far as graphics and 3D, and there wasn't much to be seen.
Yeah.
So we were all kind of disappointed, but
yeah.
Cloud gaming, and AI stuff. That's about it,
Yeah.
Now there might be some other stuff coming out at CES as far as graphics and all that stuff, but I don't know. We'll see.
Still quiet on the Octane front, I believe, right?
Well, except when we were in the middle of doing our little viewing party, I guess Tom got some sort of email that they are taking ORC out of beta.
Yeah. Explain to me what ORC is.
That's the cloud rendering thing for Otoy.
Oh, okay.
And
so maybe they were waiting for NVIDIA to announce this whole cloud thing before.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, maybe it integrates into theirs. Because I was thinking about this. Like, how is Otoy going about doing their whole cloud thing? They're not buying all those CPUs themselves, are they? Right. Like, what are they doing? So I'm guessing maybe they've been working with NVIDIA to figure this out. Maybe it's all going through them somehow.
Maybe. I don't know. That would seem like the most cost-effective way of doing it.
Because if they already have this huge GPU farm ready to go, maybe they have some sort of partnership deal.
Maybe.
I haven't been able to find that info. I meant to hit up Tom to see where he heard that. He said it was an email or something. So I don't know. For some reason, I never get emails from Otoy, and I don't know why. But he made it sound like that's where it came from. So that's a good thing. So we'll just keep an eye out for that and see where that goes. Everybody's just waiting for more Octane news.
Yeah.
And so Grayscale Gorilla, their HDRI link is coming soon.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm really excited about that. Not exciting.
Do you know? I don't know all the details. When is it coming out? Is it soon?
They said January, so like this month, and I don't know. Like it looks really cool. You know, if you're using Arnold or V-Ray or Octane or anything, being able to like browse through this whole set of, you know, their whole HDR library or whatever, and just easily click and then have it all update. That's pretty nice. That's super nice.
I'm sure they'll be showing that off at NAB this year.
I'm sure they will, yeah. Which is fine. He teased it last year.
Yeah.
So, and when I saw that, I thought it was awesome. So,
yeah.
I think that's going to be a very useful tool for people to have. Especially the fact that you buy it and, you know, you can use it with so many different render engines. That's pretty rad.
And while we were in that Skype session, In Life Thrill started throwing us some links to his new deal that he's putting together.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that, because In Life Thrill is going to be doing a couple of is it Octane tutorials where he's talking about?
It's basically Octane 3, what's new in Octane 3. So he put some more, I think, on the Octane Facebook group the other day, and was just showing some sample stuff that he did. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, he's talking about like rendering volumes and stuff like that, which is
a lot of volume stuff.
Yeah, which looks awesome. Looks really, really awesome. So,
and he's doing like volume renders of geometry, kind of like, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah. I mean, it from some of the pictures that he sent, they look like clouds. You know, like rendering clouds, but using I don't know. It looks awesome.
There wasn't much descriptor in it. Like, it's just pictures of stuff. But it's something that's coming. That's going to be good. You know, as methodical as he was with the first one, the first series, I think this is going to be pretty good. So let's talk about some productivity stuff this week.
Cool. Let's
got a couple things to talk about.
I feel like I haven't been that productive this week.
Me neither. Well, this is always what it feels like at the beginning of January. You know?
I wouldn't know because last year at this time I had a job.
Right,
I mean, I had a full-time job.
Even when I've been working places, it feels like this. I
technically have a full-time job now.
Right.
I wasn't working for myself.
You were working for the man.
I was working for the man. The man was holding me down.
There's stuff to do. It's not like there's not stuff to do. It just always feels slow, and you got that post-Christmas depression kind of sinking in. I feel awful. Like when all the decorations come down, everything looks plain in the house, and I just kind of feel
gosh. This weekend,
depressed.
we finally took down all the Christmas decorations. We put them into storage. We cleaned our whole house. I have never been happier than having that crap down.
I still haven't taken anything down.
Of course you haven't.
And I just didn't want to do it this weekend. Like, I always wait for the 12 days of Christmas. And next week, I hear it's going to be rainy and gross outside. And so I probably won't get the outdoor Christmas stuff out.
Oh, you haven't even taken down your outdoor yet?
No.
Oh, gosh. You're going to be that neighbor.
I wait for the 12 days of Christmas. Actually, there's a lot of people who haven't done it. I'm not turning it on. It's just out, So, but anyway, I get this first week of January blues because all that stuff's gone away. All the pretty lights are gone. The cozy house with the tree by the fire is gone. It's cold. It's drafty. I try to at least clean up my work area, stuff like that. And that's why I wanted to talk about workspaces. I feel like, everybody probably has a different way of going about doing their workspace. Some people are really big into having like a full setup. Some people like to have a portable setup. Some people like to be able to get on a laptop and just work at different places, go to Starbucks, because if people aren't watching you do your work, then how will they know you're important?
Right, of course.
And the thing about a workspace is you've got to feel comfortable. That's number one.
Yeah.
If something's off, I feel off.
Yeah. One thing, it's so funny, like, I always consider myself a messy person, but my desk almost always has to be clean. Anytime I had a job, like, my desk was always cleaner than everyone else's. No matter how messy my car was, my car would always be a mess. My bedroom is almost always a mess just because I'm a messy person, But when it comes to my desk where I'm at, most of the time, I've got to make sure it's clean.
Yeah, I'm clearing off my desk a lot on a regular basis.
Yeah, and you don't have a lot of desk space. I don't know how you do that.
And I don't need it, really. I know I have a pull-out drawer here, too. But
yeah, I know.
The thing is that there's a difference between clutter and organized clutter, I guess. I got a lot of junk.
Yeah,
and
I got a whole buttload of toys on my desk.
And the thing about it is, I can still have a certain amount of clutter and be okay with it as long as it's organized clutter. So if, boxes and things get pulled out, then I feel like it's cluttered in the room. I've got a couple cases open right now. The trash is starting to Jenga. But like, I have like the back of my room and it's full of cases and it's full of gear cases. As long as those cases are stacked, and even though there's a lot of it, I feel like it's at least neat. I don't like having a lot of papers and stuff laying around, and when they get around, I usually shove them in a drawer. I'm the type of person where if it's trash, I'm going to throw it away. But there's bills, there's receipts, there's stuff like that like I hate having them laying around, and I shove them in a drawer because maybe I'll have to come back to it in a year and find something. But for the most part, I'll probably never see them again. I'll probably never use them again. But at least they're in the drawer, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. All my receipts, every single one of my receipts, if it's a if I know it's going to be a deduction, it goes straight into my same folder that has all my payroll checks in it. I keep all that stuff together.
That yes.
Even
I'm not talking about
anytime
that,
I buy something online, like if I make a purchase, I will print out an invoice of it.
I'm not talking about business receipts. I'm talking about just like, here's a receipt from Target for my groceries.
Yeah, I throw those away immediately.
But what if you have to return something?
Then I just won't return it. Or I'll return it without a receipt and just get store credit.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing is that for me personally, and this probably applies to a lot of people, there's like areas that can be messy, but they're organized, so it's okay. And I'm like you, where like if things are messy, I can't think straight. I can't organize my thoughts. I feel uncomfortable. You know, a lot of times, like even if a certain room of the house, like the living room, is messy,
Yeah.
I just don't want to be in there, and I'll go somewhere else that is clean in the house. And, you know, if you don't do that, I think it can even subconsciously mess with you.
Yeah.
You know?
No, we cleaned the house. We cleaned the house this weekend, and like, it feels so good to be in a clean house. Like, and we got a 3-year-old, man. That kid messes everything up. Like, I can't have him help me clean because he just messes everything up.
So the thing about being in your area and whatnot is that you don't want distraction. You want access to the things you're going to want a lot. For example, if you can afford to do such, get something like a refrigerator. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but like if you have to stop and go really far to get yourself a drink or something, or get yourself a coffee or whatever it is, you want access to that. You want
try and convince my wife, because she'll disagree with you. Because
you had a refrigerator.
Yeah, I totally did, and I hated it. I was so stupid. You know, I stocked it full of Crystal Pepsi and High C Ecto Cooler and Surge.
Yeah.
And, you know, I drank all the Surge. I had a couple of Crystal Pepsis. Man, that High C Ecto Cooler is super gross. It's still sitting in my regular fridge. But, like, I felt like it was causing all sorts of electrical issues. Turns out it wasn't. It's probably my cat, because little do you guys know, we just had to stop recording because I tried picking up my cat and the static caused it to stop recording, which is fantastic.
And that happens all the time.
It does. It happens.
That happens all the time. And so I saw you pick up the cat, and I'm like, "Oh no, don't pick up the cat!" And like, I completely lost you.
Yep.
Your recording stops recording.
Yeah. Well, because it loses
so
the
crazy.
Yeti microphone, and I think it could be the Yeti microphone. I don't know.
Yetis have a weird grounding thing because they're USB. You need the good old fashioned XLR, man.
Yeah.
Balanced cable.
XLR.
Got that ground in there.
So
yeah.
Now, like, I don't know. My office is very open. You know, like, it's in the front of my house. It doesn't have a door, so you know, anytime anyone's here, they can come and go. My 3-year-old can come and go as he pleases, and that makes it very tough at times. I just put a TV in my office so that he can, you know, watch TV instead of annoy me. I don't know.
Well, you should have the TV somewhere else so that he's not in your office.
No, because he loves me. He likes hanging out with me, which is fine.
Well, my daughter's the same way, but when I'm in work mode, I'm like, okay, I got to get the work done.
Yeah, I know, but you can shut your door. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
I can't really do that.
Yeah, and so one of the things too is I always find that if you are working and you're at a block, or you feel like you need a break or whatever it is, and you're just like, just don't, I'm not feeling it right now, to get up and clean.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I do that a lot. Like, you know, in the morning, like probably tomorrow morning, what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here. There's a lot of clutter around and I feel uncomfortable. You know, I get to that point. Like, I can tolerate a certain amount of mess. I'm a messy person. I got clothes sitting in the floor in the bathroom over here, all of that stuff. But I can only tolerate it to a certain point.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay, that's it. It's time to clean it all up, because I know if I wait too long, it's going to get crazy. But also, I just feel better sitting down to work. Or if I get to a point where I feel frustrated, I'll feel itchy. I'll feel just, I'm like, I feel, I'm just uncomfortable right now. I'm too hot. I'm too cold. Whatever it is, I'm hungry. Whatever it is, I'm like, okay, time to stop working because it's not fun right now. I need to get up. I need to walk away from it and clean. The other thing is, maybe not necessarily do that, but go somewhere else and clean and come back. Yeah. You know, get your mind straight.
Yeah.
But as far as the workspace is concerned, there's the cleanliness. The other stuff with the workspace is, how do you set it up? You know, are you a multi-monitor person? Are you a single monitor person?
It's funny, like, so I've got 4 monitors, 3 computers across those 4 monitors. So on my left, I've got my crappy iMac, which everyone has heard me talk about how much I hate. Yeah. It is basically, and it runs Windows. It does not run OS X because it can't run OS X. It is so slow and like literally won't do anything. So running Windows, it runs super smooth. It is a mega smooth machine on Windows. Yeah. So like, but I don't run any programs besides Chrome. So I have my email up at all times and I have my calendar up at all times. It is a glorified calendar. This $1,000 machine does the exact same thing a piece of paper does.
Right.
So then in my middle, I've got my old school Mac Tower, our Monster Macs. And then on my right side, my right monitor, I've got my PC. It used to be I had 2 monitors for my Mac, but I was using my PC so much that I really liked actually having it on my desktop. So
mainly the thing
now I've
about
got a 4th monitor that's above. It's actually a TV that I can use. Sometimes I watch Hulu while I'm working, and so I keep that up or whatever. And so it's also used as a speaker for my PC.
Yeah, mainly the thing is that, like, having, if you are a multi-monitor type person, or you're thinking about getting multi-monitors, it is kind of nice to be able to, even though you could do like space switching or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the Windows equivalent of it is, workspaces, all that kind of thing, where you can flip back and forth. There's something different about being able to move something over to the side and just leave it there at all times. Not have it minimized, not have it in the background, not have it hidden. And, I used to be a 2-monitor guy. Now I'm like a 3-monitor guy all the time.
Yeah.
3 main monitors. My middle monitor is always what I'm working on. Is it After Effects? Is it Cinema? Whatever it is. Yep. Keep Octane, separate Octane window to the right if I'm in Octane. But like on the left is where I keep email. On the left is where I keep Skype. It's where I keep the Finder windows, all that stuff. The files are always to the left. On the right are the notes and the chat and all that kind of stuff. And in the middle is the workspace. And it's weird that, as a person, with multiple monitors, you kind of become like a monitor snob, where you get on another machine and it's one monitor and you're like, oh, you only have one monitor.
Now I had my PC upstairs hooked up to our big screen TV when family came for Christmas, and because we were all playing Oculus Rift, and there's a whole lot more room up there than in my office, and I got used to actually having my Mac running 2 monitors, and I really liked having that extra Octane window where I was only using Octane, because running Octane with that second window, docked in your single space, that's kind of rough at times, know. But my TV that I've got above, I actually bought like a little HDMI switcher. So I'm running HDMI out of both my Mac and my PC, and I can just switch it with a click of a button, to where it'll be a second monitor for my Mac, which is kind of nice.
But from a productivity standpoint, it is nice to have that stuff if you can do it.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't seem like, it's like, why would I need that? Well, until you get it, you don't realize that it's kind of like, it's a way to compartmentalize your things that are going on in your head while you're working. It's weird.
Now oh gosh, my cat's coming over towards me. Go away, cat. Go away.
Don't touch him. Don't touch him. Use the sole of your shoe.
That's what I was doing.
Okay, good.
But now let me go ahead and okay. So one of my favorite apps that I use, now I've got 3 computers. Most people don't want to have multiple mice and keyboards across 3 computers. I use a program called Synergy, or at least it was called Synergy way back in the days, Synergy KM. Now I believe it's called Seamless. No, it's still called Synergy, but it's run by a company called Seamless, seamless.com, SYMLESS. So it's really cool, and it's really super easy to set up, and it's cool. It gives you the ability to use one keyboard, one mouse, and you can copy and paste between screens most of the time. And you can actually drag and drop files as well, which is cool.
The copy paste, all that work. same command key? Do you have to use control?
You have to use control. Yeah. Yes. I cannot for the life of me. I think, and I've been actually trying to figure that out for the past forever.
I know I had a command at one point.
Yes, but I think they changed, like Windows 10 changed that to where you can't actually like
remap
change.
The keys.
Yeah, you can't remap the keys, because I've downloaded key remappers and stuff like that. If anyone has any suggestions on how to turn that in the command key, I would love to hear that, because and Synergy is supposed to be able to let you do that, but it doesn't. It just doesn't work well. It doesn't work right.
The only problem with doing that is then your command is no longer your start key, and then that gets confusing. But
yeah, but I'm
just trying to train myself.
Change your control key to the start key.
It's the muscle memory that's the problem.
Yeah,
like how many times, like can't tell you how many times someone's like, "Hey, what's the shortcut for that again?" And I'm like, "Oh, I use it like 100 times a day, but I can't tell you what it is because my hand just does it."
Yeah, yeah.
It's weird.
After Effects. Scale to comp, alt command F. I had to relook that up today because I used to use it all the time, and I haven't had to use it in a while. Alt command F, man, that thing's awesome. Scale to frame. Now
there are other things as far as your workspace. I mean, yes, I do have 5 monitors technically. I don't use them, like the way I use them is like one is a security cam monitor, but it can be something else if I want it to be. The main monitor for the Brograph logo, all that, it's got an Apple TV, it's got the PC, it's got wireless Xbox from downstairs if I want it, the whole deal.
I hate
but
the Apple
really,
TV.
It comes back to the 3 screens thing. I think that if you can have 2 or 3 screens when you're working, it really helps. But other things in the room could be lighting, for example. A lot of people like to work with the lights in the room off and just the screens blaring at them, or sometimes it's the opposite.
We used to work for a guy who, oh my gosh, he would turn it down, he would come in your office and turn your lights down to like almost to where they're all the way off. And you're like, what are you doing? I can't see anything. He's like, oh, I'm just setting the mood. Not for us.
But the whole thing with that is that for me personally, I switch back and forth. There are some days that I just want to get down to business. I leave all my lights off and I just have my screens. And some days I feel like it's dark and drab and I like to turn it on. I've actually got color change lights, iPhone controlled and all that in this room. And so I've actually experimented with that. Do I feel more comfortable with blue lights
have
one
you
day
tried
or
doing
red lights one day?
Have you tried doing blue lights during the day and red lights right
I
before
have.
the end of the day?
I've tried that. Sometimes
did it mess with your circadian rhythm or whatever?
Well, no, the thing for me is sometimes I feel like I want the opposite. Sometimes I feel like at night, if I'm working, I feel like if I change it, I'm trying to do the opposite circadian rhythm thing, because for me, if I'm dimming down to like some sort of warm tone in the room at night, it's going to make my body feel like, okay, it's sunset time. It's time to go to sleep. We don't have that, 5600K lighting that's outside or whatever, and so I will actually stick with the white lights on purpose when I'm working late, because I don't want my body to feel like it's time to go to bed.
I hate the 5600 Kelvin lights. Like, ugh. I will not have them in my house. I don't put them anywhere. I've got a buttload of them in my garage, but I will never use them. I hate them.
Yeah. It just depends. And I have windows, in front of me too. I can open the windows.
Yeah.
But that's a thing. And then climate is a big deal too. You and I have been struggling with weird Texas weather.
Yeah.
And some days you're sweating and sometimes you're freezing. And that sucks. When you're trying to work and your feet are just frozen and your toes are cold, you can't concentrate.
Yeah.
So that's another part of your workspace that should be comfortable.
Yeah, I had to get a blanket the other day because it was so cold in my house. Like, normally the heater works great, not a problem. The AC works great. And, sometimes. But, like, when it gets way too hot or way too cold, like this weekend, it was like 20 degrees. So I couldn't get my house above 62. So
and next Tuesday it's going to be 80 degrees again. So it's going to be the opposite problem.
Which will be great.
It's insane. I got a little air conditioner here for that, but I've been putting on wool socks and slippers and Under Armour and the whole thing.
Yeah, I know you came to lunch the other day in your long johns underneath all your clothes.
Yeah, because it was cold. It was snowing outside.
Well, yeah, it wasn't snowing when we were on our way, but oh gosh,
it was still cold.
Freaking Texas snow.
Yeah, it's awful. And then I proceeded to have a 2-hour drive to go home, 30 miles.
Dude, I took all the back roads. Picked up my kid on the way home.
I couldn't. There was no back road to take.
I know. See, that's the one thing about my way home is that I can actually take some back roads and not get stuck in traffic. Anyway, I digress.
And so I guess the other part of this would be audio, because there's always the question of, do I wear headphones? Do I have speakers? Do I have in-ears? Do I have outer ear? Like what do you do for audio? And because as an editor, sometimes it's not best to have in-ears. Sometimes you want to have speakers, because if you're editing something, you want to hear what it's going to sound like to a normal person who's going to be watching probably on a speaker, not in in-ear headphones.
Yeah. I hate in-ear headphones. Like, I'll wear them just while we're like chatting or something like that.
Yeah.
But 95% of the time, while we're playing video games, in-ear, no problem. Because, but
not iPhone in-ears. Those are the worst.
iPhone in-ears. That's what I use.
Oh,
I don't
those
use
are terrible.
anything else. I don't use anything else for in-ear because I hate in-ear. For me, it is always over the ear. Over the ear and not on the ear. On the ear sucks. On the ear is almost worse than
That's what I have on right now. The Sonys, the classic Sonys, where all the black stuff flakes off and falls apart on every single pair ever.
It will always be over the ear because it's just everything is better over the ear. I just got a pair. Amy got me a pair of the Bose 35 wireless Bluetooth, headset. And man, those things are freaking sweet. Over the ear, fantasticness.
But sometimes it depends. Like with having regular speakers, you can kind of listen to something and have the TV on at the same time, or things like that. Sometimes you need that, or have a radio show on, some talk radio while you're working on something. It's hard to be able to switch sources when you have the headphones on.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really listen to a lot. Like, it's just you and me talking, like, to each other for, like, 90% of our workday. Right.
And when I'm animating big time, like when I've been working on this Brograph intro, like, I can't sit there and talk to somebody. I'll get distracted. Like, I've got to blast some dubstep or something into my ears and just, like, power through.
Yeah.
Because I get more done that way. Like, I am able to, like,
dude, I need to get you
really
on the punk rock
fast.
Train.
Ugh, no, that'll never happen. Don't even try. Like, it literally won't happen. It won't.
Oh man,
it won't. Plus, well, here's the thing too about having those in-ears in or headphones coming from your computer is when the dang sheep of death on After Effects happens.
Oh yeah,
it gets me every time. I pee myself a little bit every time it goes off. You're like sitting there, even if you've got something going like music or something, it's just louder than everything else, and you're like, sitting there working, got maybe some chill music on or something, a little Phil Collins,
Oh gosh,
you like Phil Collins?
I've got two. What is it?
I got 2 ears and a heart, don't I?
Ears. I was gonna say I got 2 thumbs and this.
We'll
guy.
make you a mix CD. I'll make you a mix CD. You like Phil Collins? I got 2 ears and a heart, don't I?
Anyway.
Yeah. So you're sitting there, you listen to that music, that chill music, and it's like, and you're like, oh God, and you pee a little bit, and then you die a little bit inside because something has failed, and that you have to go like work on some sort of error in After Effects, or some sort of malfunctioning plugin, or some sort of file that tried to overwrite or something, and then it's over. But
Dave's gonna insert the sound in case you haven't heard it right here.
No. So anyway, that's kind of I don't know. That's kind of the gist of it. You want to be comfortable. You want to have everything set. You want to be in a place when you're going to get like super artsy. I'm not talking about like when you're doing email and junk like that. I'm just talking about when you're going to get down to business. You want to be free of distraction.
When you're doing emails, you got to listen to Money by Pink Floyd, or just sound of like change machines and stuff like that.
Right.
Dollar bills, making it rain.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, those are all sound effects that I listen to when I send emails.
Because it sucks. It sucks to sit down to work on something and every 5 minutes something is bugging you. Whether you're too hot, you're too cold, the phone's ringing, there's noise outside, people are coming in and bugging you. Stuff's cluttered. There's just you got to get to that point where, you are comfortable sitting down and maybe not getting up for, a couple
8 hours.
Couple 8 hours.
Yeah.
Have something to drink at the ready. The whole thing. And it sounds silly, but like it really is true. Like if I get all my ducks in a row and everything's perfect, I can sit down and say, okay, I'm not going to, and I can even on my computer like close the email, say I'm not going to do any of this. I'm going to sit here. And unless somebody calls me with an emergency, I'm not going to get up. I'm just going to keep powering through this.
Yep.
And if I do all of those other things ahead of time, then I know that nothing else is going to distract me because there's already enough distractions with phone, email, Facebook, and all that other kind of garbage to begin with.
I don't check my Facebook a lot during the day, at least not on my computer. Like the only thing that I constantly have up is Twitter. And that's just so like I can talk to the other bros out there. So that I can let the other bros know how much I love them.
The bros. So, something I wanted to bring up this week as well is sales taxes, just because this came up in Dallas with some people and they were talking about it. And if you are working in the industry, and this is going to completely depend on what state you're in, you may or may not have to pay sales taxes on what you do. And, it's interesting. I'm going to post this article in particular for the one in Texas. You can look at it just as a reference. But there is this weird kind of thing that happens. And I guess it becomes a problem because they're not clear enough with the laws. Is that the people who do sales tax are, of course, they want all their money. It'll be your state comptroller or something like that. And when it comes to doing production work, production stuff is usually
non-taxable.
Not taxable as far as sales tax, but there's certain things that are, and it becomes such a gray area. I've had multiple conversations with people in Austin, comptrollers, stuff like that they're like, well, no, you don't have to pay for this. You don't have to pay sales tax for this. And I've talked to them personally about that. And, so in this example, the link I'm going to post, it says sales of tangible property, including property such as audio or video recordings transferred on a format of any kind, CD, DVD, download, are subject to state tax and local tax. However, the producing of a video or multimedia master, a copy that will be sold, offered for sale, licensed, distributed, broadcast, or exhibited, is not taxable with the purchaser when the purchaser issues an exemption certificate. So it's like, for me, it's like, okay, they're almost saying two different things, but you're making something that can be transferred to a DVD or downloaded. But if you're making it and it's going to be sold or distributed, then it's not, like, it doesn't make sense to me. And it's because the people who make these laws don't particularly understand how production works. So I thought I would put this out here and you can take a look at it because it's something to take into consideration to make sure that you are in the right place when you're setting up a company, whether or not you have to pay sales tax. Because sometimes it can be rather annoying because if you sign up to pay sales tax and you don't and you don't have to pay sales tax, you still have to file, and that becomes a huge annoyance because you have to go in and you have to file 0 every time. And if you don't file 0, then you get taxed. they'll send you a bill, and they'll send you a bill for $120 or something, and say, hey, you forgot to pay your sales tax. So we just
didn't we have to deal with that like a couple of years ago?
No, not us. No.
Oh.
I mean, now I did. I had to deal with it, and it was really stupid because this is when they first started doing the sales tax on online, where you could pay what you owed online, and it was ridiculous. Is that, have I told this story before?
I don't know. If you have, it was a long time ago.
So the sales tax problem was that it was zero, because that's why I'm saying, like, if you don't have to pay sales tax at all, don't even sign up for it, because filing zero just becomes such a problem. This is what happened to me. Now, the internet was kind of new, and they had a hard time with doing the web stuff back then, especially a government organization. I went in and I filed zero a whole bunch of times, and for some reason they didn't have down that I filed zero, so they said, oh, you owe $120. Okay, but they didn't tell me that.
Yeah, didn't they send a certified letter to your house or something?
No, it was worse than that. I went out of town to California, and I had somebody house sitting or apartment sitting or whatever, keeping an eye on the cat and stuff like that. There was a note on the door that the sheriff was there to arrest me because I didn't pay my $120 that I quote unquote owed for them accidentally not getting my zero file through the web.
Yeah, I think you have told the story. That's pretty funny.
And so when it comes to sales tax, just be careful. See if you have to pay if you have to pay on everything, if there's certain things you have to pay for, because this stuff is a hassle, and there's so many different types of taxes. You're being taxed every other way, and it just becomes more paperwork if you don't have to really do it. So, I mean, you got sales tax, you got your federal tax, you've got state tax if you're in a state that does state sales, or just regular state tax. You've got corporate taxes, you've got franchise taxes. It's just so ridiculous how much you get taxed. So, and you've got unemployment tax, of course, if you have employees. Jeez. So.
Yep.
And the last big thing I wanted to talk about was networking, and not a big thing on networking.
DFWC4D.
Yeah, totally. But with networking, one of the things, I was just talking to a lot of people about networking this week. That's kind of what brought it up, is there are so many ways to meet people, and there's so many different venues, like LinkedIn, for example. And
LinkedIn sucks.
I know. And we were talking we were talking to Matthias about this earlier tonight. It's like with LinkedIn, how many times have you ever really gotten something good from LinkedIn?
Never.
You spend all that time on LinkedIn trying to meet people, trying to network, blah, blah, blah. I mean, maybe there's a couple success stories in there like that, but I feel like LinkedIn is just such a gross, unfriendly place to be.
Yeah, it does. It feels very cold, It's and like, I don't know, everyone's, oh, you gotta have LinkedIn. You gotta have a LinkedIn, It's like, and I was talking, when we were talking earlier, I said, LinkedIn is not the place where you go as a creative. As a creative person, LinkedIn does not cater to that at all, Because it's just a bunch of salespeople talking to each other on LinkedIn. It is. That's the problem. It's one big sales circle jerk.
Yeah, and the thing with the networking is, I think here's the only time we got something through LinkedIn is when we did a huge export of all our combined email contacts from LinkedIn and put them into our mailer for our company.
Which
and
probably isn't the best thing. I don't know if you're supposed to do that or not, but we did.
I don't see why not. I mean, the thing about it, though, is that I think on our second emailer, somebody emailed us and said, oh, hey, I'd like to get some stuff done. So they paid off in that way, having someone's email address. But like, it sucks. The real networking happens with people who know each other. Like, there are so many gigs. There's so much time that we've put into Facebook ads and all this other kind of garbage to try and drum up some business. And maybe Google Ads has brought some stuff to us before, just putting out their advertising video production in the past. Here's the thing.
Like, Brograph, yes. We have advertised on Facebook, and that's really the only place that we've advertised.
Well, but see, you're advertising a plugin. That's different.
And you can make it very specific, And I believe we did DFWC4D. We advertised that for the first one. We got a few people who had just seen the ad, And, that worked out. But when you're selling video stuff, man, that's hard.
And not just video stuff, because I got people going to my old website who still call it. I got some clients that came from Google who just typed in video production Dallas and it came up. But this is different. Like the stuff that we're doing now, like if somebody needs 3D motion tracking done, they're not going to go to Google and type, I need someone in Dallas 3D. They're going to know someone or something, and all the big stuff that we've got. Or they're going to throw it up
on their local Producers Association.
Yeah.
I get emails all day from the Dallas Producers Association. Hey, does someone know any video guys in New York City? Blah, blah, blah. That the professionals are going to send it to the people they know, And
the other thing, too, is that when you talk to people, like sometimes you'll set up a meeting to talk to people and think, I'm going in here and nothing's going to come of this. I don't think that they're ready to buy anything. Like you get that feeling going in, like they're not really ready to do anything. They probably don't have a lot of money to spend. This isn't going to be worth it because I'm not going to get a gig out of it. But what you're forgetting about when you go into that situation is you're kind of coming in and you're just talking to them. And they are, each person in that room, let's say you walk in a room with 10 people and you go in and talk to them and like they're not ready for your services yet. They're still going to remember you. And then even when their friends come up with something or someone who's at another company that they know says, hey, I'm trying to do this video. They're like, oh, wait, I know somebody. So networking is also about playing the long game. Where you might go in and it's not a productive thing for you that day. You don't make some sort of sale, but you definitely still get your foot in the door somewhere and you get your word out to people.
You have enough of these long games going on,
Right.
And it's going to pay off, And sometimes it doesn't even have to be a long game. Like if you're focusing on networking a lot, then it's going to happen. Good things are going to happen.
Like I do think people forget about that. People think networking is instant gratification.
I spend a lot of time networking with Brograph, and getting to know people and like going and hanging out and going to events and stuff like that. Just because they're my people, like we're not going to get anything from it really, just maybe a few more listeners, maybe a bigger fan base. I don't know, I don't know where I'm going with this. Maybe I'm saying I should spend more time trying to do sales for our company, right? But still, we have grown a lot,
and most of it hasn't been like people Googling visual effects. That's not how it happens.
Probably the biggest Google search we get is Octane Spotlight.
Yeah. But again, that's a thing that you can buy. Like it's a different thing, it's different. It's what Barton was talking about in his talk too at the last DFWC4D is, emailing people and all that kind of stuff and just kind of staying in contact with people. It's a long game. It's a long game type situation. So I don't want to get too much into networking today because we could talk so much about that, but just something that had been circling in my mind this week after talking to some people. And all right, Ravco. Let's Ravco it up.
Oh, render engines?
Render engines.
Word. Ravco. Yes, I like that.
Ravco. What is it again? It's
render. I don't even know what is R?
Redshift.
Oh, okay.
Arnold, V-Ray, Cycles, Octane.
Yeah. C could also stand for Corona.
And Corona. Or you could put the C at the end. You could have Ravcock.
All right. Is there a K render engine?
I don't know.
All right. Anyway.
So we already talked about the O-Toy going out of beta thing. I had that in this segment, but Substance Designer. I want to talk about that for a minute.
Sure. That's not a part of Ravcock at all. Yeah.
No, but this is about Octane.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're back on it.
So we had talked about, we had both kind of looked at Substance Designer, and we had done some tutorials on it and whatnot, and really like Substance Designer.
Yeah.
And what I hadn't done, because you were asking me last time, well, how did you bring everything into Cinema 4D? And the way that I did it was I just exported all the final textures and brought it in. What I did not know was how really cool their plugin is for Cinema 4D.
Yeah, because it's an actual Substance Designer plugin where it imports your, what is it, your SBS file or something?
SBT, I forget what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the thing is that it's actually a shader.
SBS. I was right.
This is the interesting part.
Yeah, but it's a standard shader, right? Okay, go ahead.
It is a standard. It is a standard shader. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about it is that you have to do a little bit of adjusting or whatever. But you remember when we were talking about how, let's say you make a metal texture and you have some sort of levels in there that controls an alpha channel with the rust so that you have a slider that says rust level. You know, that is something that will actually import into Cinema.
That's awesome.
With this plugin. So you open that up, you have your material, and that shader comes in. Now, here's the thing. It makes a material for it, but you can take that material and do an Octane conversion on it.
Really? Does it work well?
And everything still works. Now, you do have to do some adjusting when you get to that point, but my point is that it brings in the Substance Designer shader into those channels, into the correct channels for the most part. And so even when you do the conversion, it converts by moving those Substance Designer shaders into the Octane material, and you can delete the original. So then when you go back up to your plugin window for Substance Designer and you click on the name of that material, you can still adjust those sliders and they still adjust in your Octane material.
That's cool.
You know, it doesn't break anything, in other words.
So that makes me worried though, because of how O-Toy treats the standard C4D shaders and stuff like that they say that, you know, oh, the C4D shaders are crashing our systems and blah, blah, blah. We've had a lot of people complaining about that. You know?
Yes and no.
So, I mean, it seems to me like Substance Design, how well does it work? Like, have you had any crashes?
It works extremely well. Here's the thing about it is that when you export and all these base plugin, all these base materials that they sell and they give for free on their site and all of that, they all come in with resolution control.
Cool.
And it's coming back from procedural shaders,
which is awesome.
And even their what is their B2 something that you get as part of that package that we bought with Paint. You get Painter, you get Designer, and then you get that other thing.
Yeah, bitmap to
bitmap to whatever. Yeah. But it makes a procedural texture out of regular bitmaps, and so
it does.
That's what it's supposedly what it does. It helps you create
a procedural one too.
It helps you to create a procedural shader based on the texture or something like that, I believe.
I thought it was just like a crazy bump type thing where it just converted it over to like normals and
maybe that is.
I think that would be killer if it created a procedural one.
I don't know. I'll have to go back and look. I thought it would help you create something that was more of a natural. But the thing is,
if you're looking to, figure out how to take a texture and make it, procedural, just look at my tutorial. Dave will put it in the notes.
Oh, and you know what, procedural or
repeatable?
Repeatable. There's a difference.
Yeah, repeatable.
Okay, repeatable. Okay, now as far as procedural, what's nice about it is the procedural stuff comes in with this plugin, and then you can go in and you can say, okay, I only need 128 by 128, 256 or whatever. Or if you've got something that's you want to ramp it up, all you got to do is change it. Like usually if you brought in something and it was too low resolution, you're going to have to go into Photoshop and fix that. So this is something where it starts out low and you can up it. So like if you say you get really close into an object and you're like, oh man, it's falling apart.
Yeah.
The texture's falling apart here. You just go back to that and you say, oh, I'm going to increase this to 4096 because I'm super close to it.
Substance Designer, like it's crazy cool and it's amazing how simple it is. Like how easy it is to pick it up. It's like if you've done a lot of work in Octane or you've done a lot of like layers set in standard renderer, where you do your layers and you do layers upon layers upon layers or whatever, you'll get Substance Designer super quick. I don't know.
So definitely recommend it. Just wanted to give an update on that. And something else I've been doing after we had our conversation with David last week about, I forget the name of the artist.
Camera?
Yep.
It's awesome.
Turn off the check camera.
Yeah, it's way cool. I was playing around with it the other day, and it's like I don't know why I never knew that was an option.
I knew it was there, but I never thought about it. Like I get it. Like okay, the reason that that other artist that David was talking about, the reason that guy used it is so he could do like a wide view of whatever he was working on in the Octane window, and then zoom into what he was working on in the viewport, make the changes, and just see it as a whole. For me, it's less about that and more about not having the Octane window recalculating all the time.
Yeah.
Because have you ever been working on a piece of geometry and you're moving around and it's just getting a little jumpy because your Octane window is trying to just constantly update what you're doing?
Yeah.
Not your geometry, but just your camera move. Yeah. And it's annoying, so you just turn that off and you sit there and do your thing because you don't need that moving at the time. It's actually really nice. And I think technically, it feels to me when you use Octane that the more updates that are going on and the faster and the less time between those updates, the more likely you are to have a crash.
Yes. Yes, yeah,
it seems
totally
to me
agree.
All the crashes come from calculations.
Yeah, all my crashes in Octane almost always come from me going frame by frame. F F F G G G G G G F F F F G G G G G crash.
F and G.
See what you
F
did
and
there.
G. That's what I always say. No, but that's really what it is. I feel like half the time, and I feel like most of the time, those recalculations are just happening because I'm moving the camera around. So I think you can get rid of crashes that way by just making Octane not have to work so much.
Quote Dave Koss on that. Yeah. You can get rid of crashes by not doing that.
And then into the VR corner. The Medium experience, man.
Yeah, Medium is pretty awesome, I gotta say. I am really pleased. So here's the thing that if any of you guys have bought an Oculus and you can't seem to get Medium working, actually, David figured out, the way around it. Then you kind of like tried it to double check, and then I tried it as well just to triple check. Yeah. So basically, if you're having problems and you can't get Medium or any of these other games to run,
mostly the ones from Oculus Studios.
Yeah.
Medium, Quill, and the Climb.
They have to be running on the same card. So basically, your monitor and your Oculus headset have to be using the same card. Which,
of course, most people have HDMI now for most of their stuff. Yeah. So if you don't, and the card doesn't have two HDMI outs, so what you have to do is get a DisplayPort to HDMI adapter for your display. I would suggest for the display and not for the Rift.
Right.
Not sure if it really matters, but...
the Vive actually comes with DisplayPort and HDMI coming out of the headset.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, let's talk about the Vive thing. Did you see that article from CES?
Yes.
Where basically you can put... apparently anything now can be, or coming out, anything can become like basically an element
Well, that's the next thing in the notes, actually.
Oh, sorry.
So,
okay. Well, let's go back. Then let's go back.
HTC Vive's new tracker turns every real-world object into a VR toy.
Yeah, which is cool. Like, I would put one of those things on my phone. So that I would,
so you can find it.
Honestly, well, yeah, kind of. One of the worst things is when I'm playing VR and I'm getting text messages, so I'm having to look in like that tiny little spot in between my nose,
right,
and type text messages. That's the worst.
Well, I have been looking into some sort of heads-up display that you can have while you're in VR.
Mm-hmm. That would be cool.
And there's a couple people working on something like that. There's in beta that are in beta. Some of them are GitHub stuff. And when I see stuff that's in GitHub, I'm like, I'm just gonna wait because I don't want to try and get all their code and try and compile it. But so what this thing does with HTC Vive, it's basically just a little thing that goes on any other object that you want to have in VR, like a gun or they were showing a bat. And I was like, seriously, you're going to be swinging a baseball bat around with your headset on? No.
My office is so tiny, and it's like, I barely have enough room to play super hot VR without punching something.
I don't even care if you have the space. It is not a good idea to do that. Imagine if you swung that bat and somebody was standing there. That was an awful idea.
Yeah.
Awful idea.
I can't even tell you how many times I've actually punched the ceiling fan.
Yeah, it's just not a good idea. But I do like the whole idea of having that tracker.
It could be a foam bat.
Yeah, it can. But I think number one, it's not any different than having like a controller, like another controller, or putting your controller on something. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what they're doing with the Rock Band guitar deal. Mm-hmm. They actually ship with your Rift hand controllers, a little thing you can slide your controller into, and then it attaches to the guitar or something. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not out yet. So, but I'm pretty sure that Rift is going to do the same exact thing. They're going to come out with a little thing you can attach. I'm sure it's already in the works. Yeah. They just haven't announced it.
Yep.
And
the new Vive that they were showing off, or at least that I saw in that video from CES, it looked like they only had one wire coming back now.
Yeah, it looks thinner. Like the Rift. Yeah. And they've in the back they've put the same triangle that the Rift has. They put the built-in headphones in. They basically looked at the new Rift that came out and said, okay, now we're going to do all the exact same things.
Yeah, which was smart. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean,
supposedly the new screens in the eyes are supposed to be 4K in each eye, which would be fantastic.
Yeah, but I think that it's basically Rift has done all the heavy lifting from the get-go, and they kind of came on board later and said, okay, now we're just going to follow.
Yeah,
and I think they're trying to lead with these little things, but I guarantee you that it's already there's probably tons of stuff already in the works with both companies.
Yeah,
and they're going to do this back and forth game.
Yeah. VR is, man, it's great. It's until you experience it, you just don't know.
And it's not like a 3D televisions or any of that crap.
Yeah,
like a fad type thing. Like this is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but AR has been really big at CES. I've seen a whole bunch of people doing like AR glasses and stuff like that.
Yeah, and one of them actually has O-Toys technology in it too, which is interesting. But like with the heads-up display and stuff too, I feel like I feel like you have to have something. There are apps for VR. Like I have one called Big Screen or something like that, and another desktop type program where you can go see your desktop in VR, and it's actually really cool.
Yeah, see, I like that. I like that idea. Virtual desktop.
I have virtual desktop, but there's another one.
$14. $14 just to be able to see my desktop, which kind of sucks.
I think I got that one for free at some point, but there's another one.
And how do you? Today I couldn't figure out how do you watch like YouTube videos in VR.
There's a couple apps that'll let you play. There's a bunch of apps that'll let you play videos and stuff like that. But like there's one in particular, I think it's called Big Screen or something like that, where it does a screen that you can size with your hands, and you can put it off to the side, but you're sitting on like a loft balcony at night over like at a nice apartment overlooking
funny.
the city. And actually that one's pretty nice. I really like it actually. But there's
social virtual desktop app that lets you use your computer in VR on massive virtual screens.
Yeah, but the thing is that I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about there needs to be more in like, for example, like if you're doing a web stream of VR stuff, like how are you going to see chat coming from the chat room while you're working?
That's true. Yeah,
you
because
need
you were streaming your whatchamacallit?
Yeah, Medium. I was streaming
your
Medium today.
And yeah, how can you see the chat? That's a really good idea. You need some sort of like audio reader on that,
right?
You know, that just reads it to you.
They're working on these different people are working on ways to have the heads up. It's geared toward people who are doing this type of streaming too. And so you can watch on Twitch. I streamed it live. I'm going to probably turn that into a Brograph live video as well, just to put it out there. And I sat down, and this isn't in the live stream, but this was like earlier in the week. I sat down, I did this sitting. I got everything all set. I got in the recliner with my, my legs up and everything in a blanket, and I sat there for hours in Medium, and it was just so much fun. I learned every tool in detail. Like, so I could tell you everything about every tool.
I wish the sculpting tools were more similar to the Cinema 4D ones. Like, because I had I tried modeling a face, and I've been able to do that pretty well in Cinema. But oh my gosh, my face looks so stupid. But my favorite tool in that is the twist one. Like being able to twirl stuff,
Oh yeah.
That's rad.
How were you like pushing and pulling in there?
What do you mean? Like, well, grabbing is fine, but like in order to like create
smudging?
No. In order to create an ear, I originally tried pulling, or whatever. I don't know what it's called. But that didn't work very well. So then I had to actually physically build the ear with,
with
more
clay?
Yeah, with more clay, and then kind of like smooth that out and stuff.
What about inflate and deflate?
No, I don't think I tried that. I don't know.
And did you work with line and surface and all that?
I didn't work with line and surface.
Oh man, you got to go through there and look at some of this. So like, let's say that you want to make a line.
Yeah, I saw actually. I was
blocks.
watching your tutorial, or not your tutorial. Your
live stream.
Yeah,
it's you can do that. So where you see the line, and then once you start drawing, like the line is locked. So you're not worrying about what you're doing with your hand. The other one is surface, so that you can put you could like take a either a paint sprayer or a clay sprayer or whatever and spray onto the surface, which is really cool. Man, I just sat down with all these tools and I love the lathe. Have you tried the lathe?
I haven't tried the lathe.
So the lathe, you take a sphere and then take the clay, and then how about stamps? Have you used stamps yet?
No.
Okay, so you can take a stamp. Let's say you find a stamp that has like a good little curve or something in it. And then you have a piece of clay on the lathe and it's spinning. So then you can take your tool with that stamp on it, and you can hold the trigger down, and it will just go all the way around your material, and you can carve something out, or you can add to it.
That's pretty cool.
Spinning, that's really cool.
That is.
And
cool.
There's symmetry tools, and the tutorials in there are great too. They'll teach you a lot about that. But stamps are awesome.
Okay. I played Lucky's Tale. It's one of the games that comes with the Oculus Rift. I didn't expect a lot. I actually thought I was going to get sick, but holy crap, that is such a good game.
I like the parts where you go underground.
Yeah, and it's more 2D, kind of 2D, 3D.
It's kind of macro world. Like you can just put your face right up into it,
I actually really, really like it. It reminds me of Mario 64. Like first
But
playing
you have
Mario
to use
64.
the regular controller, right?
No, you don't. I use the touch controllers.
Oh, really?
I use the touch controllers, but I use them like an actual joystick, you know?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So, which I wished you could have done with Valkyrie. I tried that this week. It's another one of the games that ships with the Oculus. And I got 2 minutes into Valkyrie, and I got incredibly sick because there's way too much motion in it. And so
Elite Dangerous is better.
Elite Dangerous? I don't think I've played that one.
I'm hoping they get the hand controllers into that.
Yeah. I bought a game called Home Improvisation Furniture Sandbox.
I saw that one. What in the world is that?
You're literally putting together furniture. It's
like IKEA or something?
Like IKEA furniture.
Oh my gosh.
Like I got to the second level
ridiculous.
where I had to put something together and then I couldn't figure out what I needed to do next. It was kind of stupid. But I'll tell you, the one that I'm really big on right now is Space Pirate Trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love that game. Like just sitting there and bouncing with the music and stuff like that and shooting stuff. It's really fun.
I think it was last week, so we didn't talk about it that much, but Rec Room, after the show last week, the three of us went into Rec Room and played.
Yeah.
And we found...
shout out to Chloe.
Chloe.
Yeah.
Is it Chloe? Yeah. Is it Chloe?
Chloe, yeah.
Chloe. We met this person named Chloe, and she was an avatar, and we were talking the whole time, and she didn't talk.
Yeah.
And she would make these funny gestures or laugh at us or whatever. And we ended up, like... going and playing all these different games with her, and then into the Rec Room, and like we were like drawing on the whiteboard and all this other kind of stuff with Chloe, and we were like, okay, and she couldn't talk, like she wasn't talking.
Yeah,
I don't know if
why.
Maybe she didn't speak English.
Maybe,
but she understood us.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but basically
maybe her mic wasn't working. I don't know.
It was just funny because the
maybe she was a dude
making,
and she didn't want us to like know that she was a dude.
Right.
I
But we wrote Brograph.com on the whiteboard, and we were like, hey, come find us on the interwebs.
Yeah.
And it was just funny. We had a good time.
We didn't
with
really
that,
know
though.
what we were doing in Rec
that.
Room, so like
yeah,
she was our virtual tour, which is hilarious.
She showed us what to do. It was funny. So anyway, okay, so
there was one other thing that I was going to say that I played that I can't remember what. Hold on, I'm going through my list right now. No, I think that's it. Never mind. Super hot. Oh, I played The Climb. I thought I was going to get really sick at The Climb, because you're literally climbing up stuff. But it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. Like once you get used to falling a couple times, then it's not so bad. But like, that was a pretty fun game. I got a little sick afterwards.
I was slightly sick, but the problem I had with it is no matter how many times I do the first level, it doesn't unlock anything else, and so I just have given up. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mine was fine.
I know. I don't know what's going on.
Weird.
I don't understand. And I got fast at it too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so here's a quick other section thing. This is an interesting link. It's Disney's Frozen, a material point method for snow simulation. Just something fun to check out.
Yeah, didn't I thought, oh, never mind. All right, whatever.
Somebody posted it on Skype this week in that channel. That's where I got it
Was
from.
this when, like, it shows examples of them using snow and, like, pushing snow? Yeah, I think they released this before Frozen even came out to kind of show off,
nice.
Oh, look, we figured out snow.
Yeah.
You know?
It's pretty interesting how it works.
So
got all the formulas and such in there. So let's go to email social. We have got Nightal7 who said, "Hey guys, just want to say thanks for the sweet podcast, keeping me occupied and inspired at work. Keep it up."
Where was that?
We got that was on Reddit, actually, a private message on Reddit. Then we got this was great. This was a comment on the website from the French Monkey, who we talked about last week. Didn't realize that the French Monkey listens to the show. Thanks for the shout out, guys. Appreciated. And I'm the guy who gives all his stuff away for free. Much love and Happy New Year. That's cool.
Yeah.
And KCV is our, I think, most recent winner.
No, he was our first winner.
Oh, first winner.
Yeah, he's the guy who lives in Hawaii.
In Hawaii? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, I got you. I didn't put 2 and 2 together because he had his full name listed in the Skype channel. So I had talked to him on there before and seen him talking with everybody else. I never put 2 and 2 together that it's the same KCV. So he said, late listening to this one, but that is my ultimate gripe with Dropbox, talking about the Dropbox issues we were talking about. The fact that when something is shared with you, it counts against your data quota, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So they're not my files, but I'm still penalized as storage space. What's up with that, you know? I understand they're trying to stop people from creating multiple accounts, etc., and joining, you know, in the storage, but it's still ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
And haven't had any issues with Google Drive as yet. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
That just scares me.
Yeah, it does.
And let's see. Oh, and then we just got a comment from Rafael Riva on our Octane Lights intro tutorial. And just said, it's a good tutorial. Thank you. Very easy and fast to learn the basics. I just moved to Octane today, and I'm now more confident on using the renderer. And that's something I would say, like, if you're just getting into Octane, we do have a lot of intro stuff in it, like on lights, on materials, and there's something else, too, in Octane.
I freaking love Beeple. He is hilarious.
Why?
Have you seen his newest daily render? I'm on Twitter right now.
The people that looks like North Korea or something?
No, this one is just a whole bunch of like subsurface spheres on like this log type thing with some moss, and the title for it was Paul Blart Mall Cop.
That's funny.
Man. And like anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's funny because David who emailed us a couple weeks ago talking about the Python stuff. He emailed me back tonight. And,
you emailed him?
Yeah, I did.
Good.
And I emailed him back today, and he emailed me back. And
cool. We gonna work on some plugins?
Yeah, we're talking about that. And he says, FYI, I watched that Rick and Morty video you linked to in the show notes, and I think I get the gist of it. Also started watching Beeple's Daily he did with Ash on the stream, and now I get the I don't know reference. I don't know. But he says that's the best video I've watched and the best $5 I've spent in 2017. People's attitude is super refreshing.
Oh, man. He's such a cool guy. So I'm friends with Beeple, and I'm friends with Nick Campbell on Facebook, you know, and Nick just got some new headshots done or something. And, you know, everyone who comments, blah, 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 you know, they're all nice. And then there's people saying, that's one suave mother effer. It's so funny.
And we got to get him on the show.
Yeah, we do.
We keep talking about working that out. We haven't done it yet.
I know.
Ah, man.
Anyway.
All right. Does that cover it? Do we have any iTunes? Remember, we got the 2-month iTunes special going on.
Oh, are we doing? Yeah, I forgot about that. Get you a free t-shirt.
That's going to be the end of February.
End of February. Yeah. Which we need to order some shirts for DFWC4D. Give some of those away.
Yes, we do. We need to find a cheaper way to do that too.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
What's his name? ABC already been chewed. Barton was.
Oh,
he sent us
something. Yeah. That's right.
We'll check that out.
Okay, we need to do that for sure.
Yeah, because if we could get him, you know, printed on the cheap instead of having to pay Amazon prices.
Yeah, so we had all these great reviews for a while here.
Yeah.
And then we got nothing since freaking October. Come on, guys. We need some reviews.
Yep.
It really helps us
out. Right now, if you're the only person
ratings.
who reviews us, you know, you're going to win a t-shirt.
Dang, we have all these reviews too. And they're all 5-star. So don't be that guy. So don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. We'll hate you when we give you a shirt.
Right. So anyway, let's get out of here. You can rate us on iTunes, leave a review. Like we said, it really helps us get up there in the charts when you do that. and in the recommendations and things like that. And you can subscribe through there or through your podcast player of choice if you're not already subscribed. Like if you're watching on Vimeo, YouTube, something like that, or I know a lot of you do. Give us a little subscribe somewhere, even if you're not going to use that app, just so we can get the numbers. Yeah. And our newsletter, you can sign up for that. That goes out every now and then. We don't bug you too much. And you can say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with the No Brograph, No Mograph tee, or the Paul Babb Feel the Bab t-shirt, which all profit goes to Doctors Without Borders. And we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Brograph.com, and now on Twitch. So check that out.
Yeah, we rule. And if you want to hang out with us on Oculus Rift while we're playing, my username is MC Milstead.
And I guess I'm Mentor972? I have no idea. Sure I am.
Yeah, you're Mentor972.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
Well, that about wraps it up.
That's also my username on Xbox One.
Cool.
As
we
well
gotta
as
do
yours.
That. We gotta play some more Halo.
Yeah.
And
gotta play some Overwatch.
And some Overwatch. We gotta do that too.
Just do mandatory
hit
break
us up.
tomorrow.
All right.
All right, cool.
Till next week, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
Have a
we're
good
not
one.
doing last names now?
Nope.
Okay, go
Nope,
ahead.
we're not. Have a good one.
Later, bros.
It's pretty good, I guess. Brograph.com, an online resource for learning critical components of Cinema 4D and After Effects, specifically catered to help you prevail as a motion graphic designer.
What's up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph motion graphics tutorial.
We give you professional time-saving tips, shortcuts, and lessons that help give you an edge over your fellow designers. Not only this, but our new Brograph Talks help you in your file management, hardware configuration, and client relations.
I love projects that scare me. When our art director comes to us and asks for something that I had never done before, man, it gets me pumped.
Join us for live sessions, check out our crazy Cinema 4D experiments, or just watch our Fun with Brograph series, where we show you practical applications for techniques learned in previous tutorials. Do this from the beginning, and your client is going to respect that, and they're going to respect you, and they're going to respect your time. Subscribe today and get automatic updates on the latest tutorials, tricks, tips, and inspiration brought to you by industry professionals Dave Koss and Matt Milstead, all with a slight dash of dry humor peppered in. Real nice banana.
Brograph.com, your source for tutorials that will help you thrive in the motion graphics industry. Don't just play around with Cinema 4D and After Effects, master it, and make money by becoming indispensable at your workplace.
We don't care how you get here, folks. Just get here. Subscribe now to Brograph Tutorials. It's pretty good, I guess.